Okay, so this is very exciting. This is something that's been about 3 weeks in the process of when I decided to do this. I haven't told you guys this yet or anything because I wanted to make sure it came to fruition. But finally got the phone call to go pick up a piece for the Subaru. The last piece of this puzzle that we've been waiting for has finally shown up, and I get to go pick it up. So super excited that it came through. It only took about 2 weeks to get delivered, and we're gonna go pick it up now. So this is exciting. All right, you guys, we are back at the shop, and I'm so excited. Everything looked fine. Everything looked like it came in like he said it was supposed to ship. I'm unbelievably grateful to do this for me. That way I didn't have to drive all the way to Seattle to pick it up. I was able to ship it from Seattle to here. So that was a huge help and a saving of time, which was amazing. So without further ado, would you guys like to see the last major piece of this Forester build? Let's unload it. Do you guys see that coming at all? So I went back and forth for a long time with trying to figure out if just to buy a new transmission for this model of Subaru, or were we gonna pull our trans out and rebuild it, or just what do we do? Wasn't sure on what to do with this Subaru. And then somebody started telling me, like, why don't you look at this trans that we have here? And so what this is this is a 2005 turboed Outback transmission and rear diff. 146,000 miles. We've got the transmission, the shifter linkage, the rear diff, and axles. But we won't actually be needing the axles, but we went ahead and got them anyways. This rear diff has a viscous LSD, whereas ours is open. And this setup has a 4.44 final drive gear ratio, whereas this has a 411. So this should handle this setup so much better. All right, so it's a couple days in the future now, and I've been actually dreading doing it because it is such a big job. But today we are finally going to pull the transmission and the rear differential out of this and throw in our XT trans with a new clutch and flywheel, all new fluids, a new rear differential. We're gonna turn this thing into the little mountain Roo that she always wanted to be. So with that being said, we went ahead and picked up, if you can see that, we went ahead and picked up all new exhaust gaskets so we can re-gasket everything basically from the manifold back. So we have those. We got a new rear main seal because this little $5 seal is worth doing if we're already going to be in there, because nothing's worse than doing all this work than having this fail. So we got a new rear main seal, blue Loctite 242 for the flywheel, and then 5 quarts of Valvoline 75/90 weight for the transmission and the rear diff. Then we have a new clutch and flywheel, and that whole package is in and ready to go. I'll show you guys that tomorrow probably when we get to that far. I think that's it. I think that's everything that I'm gonna need. So let's go ahead and start by getting this thing jacked up, the wheels busted off of it, and start by taking the stock transmission out of it. Alright, so update time. We got the shift boot and shifter linkage, all that's disconnected, so that's kind of just free floating from the car at the moment. We unhooked the battery, pulled out our air box and all that stuff, disconnected as much as we could from the top. We still got to get the starter disconnected and a few other things. We've got this done, and we just need to pull out our axles up front. So anyways, we still got the front to do, but we got all of the rear. So we got the exhaust pulled out, drive shaft pulled out, heat shielding pulled out so we can get to the drive shaft to do the center. And then we pulled out our stock differential, or I should say, we pulled out our rear diff. We got the axles out. So it kind of looks like this underneath. These are all disconnected. Had to spin them out of the way. So we get the axles out. So right now our hub assembly is just kind of just sitting here free floating, disconnected from all the arms. So here we have our stock rear diff that came with this car, and on this side we have our turbo rear diff that came out of our Outback. This one is going to have a viscous LSD, whereas our stock one is just going to be an open diff. So this is a slight upgrade. It should handle better off-road, but we did not get the mounting pins for the rear of the differential, so luckily we can just take them out of our stock one and swap them over to here, and those will just thread right back in. So you can do this just like as if you were going to pull your manifold studs out. You can thread one nut on, back another nut, lock them together, and then just take them out that way. So and just like that, she's ready to go back in. Okay, so we finally got the drain pulled. I don't know if you can really see that or not, especially on the drain plug right there, minus the corgi hair. We do have some clutch material on there or something, probably the material from our synchros, I would assume, because this did have a bad third gear synchro, and that's the reason why we're changing it. We needed to change the transmission out anyways, so this is what has led to us doing this full swap. Now we have that draining, got our battery disconnected, so because we're going to be pulling the starter off. We got our airbox disconnected, all of our PCV lines are disconnected. We've got our we got our top mount disconnected. So now we just have to pull out the slave cylinder and our starter and alternator, maybe, I don't know, the starter out. I gotta take this bracket off so this will clear when we pull it, and then just do the cross members on the bottom and the housing bolts, and we should be able to pull this out. And we got our new one all installed last night, so now this is all just loosely sitting in here, and we still need to drain the fluid out of that one. I'm making a list of stuff to replace down the road. We're gonna have to get new tow arms for the rear because the boots broke when I was taking this in and out. We still got to lock down our nut, but our axles are in. So these are our stock Forester axles. Work fine with the Outback transmission. So there you can see transmission went right back in. It's just 2 bolts on either side right here and there. and then 2 back here, and then you can just pull this out, put it back in. It's easier to pull the axles all the way out rather than just move them to the side. That's what we're going to do up front, is we're going to pull the axles completely out. We're going to pull the axles completely out up front, so it'll just make it easier pulling that in and out. But this is what she looks like right now. So we just got to do some shifter linkages right here and pull up all the cross bracing, and then we should be able to get this thing pulled out today and then put our new clutch and flywheel on. Also, while we wait for that transmission to drain so we can jerk it out, the drain plug is a T70 star key. I believe that's what that's called. I looked everywhere for that, and they're not easy to find, especially in today's world right now when there's nothing available. But it also took me a while, because the one video I watched on just how to pull this transmission out real quickly said a T65, and I don't believe they really make that. And I bought a T60 and it was just a touch bit too small, so it turns out it's actually a T70. So hopefully that helps you guys if you ever want to change your fluid or anything like that. Drain bolt, T70. Okay, so we got our axles disconnected from the outside, so they're just hanging in right now. Now we have to get all of our bell housing bolts out, and then we need to get our starter and stuff disconnected and pushed up out of the way. We gotta take this bracket off right here, and then we'll pry right in here, pop the axles, take the axles out, and then all we need to do is to finish removing this cradle right here, and then those bolts up there need to come out so we can figure out how to take out the shift lever. We might just take it out in one full assembly, I'm not sure yet. We'll cross that when we get there. So let's start popping these axles out. Okay, so we have our transmission out now. That was a two-person job, but we got it out. So now what we need to do is start swapping over some of our mounts and brackets and things like that that are on our transmission over to the new one. And we're also going to switch our shift linkages. These are the ones that came on ours, but they look like they're in a lot better condition than what came in the new trans, which is crazy how crusty this thing looks for only having 46,000 miles on it. But It also came from the Seattle Everett area, so I guess that's a sign of what salt water does to your shit. So we're gonna take ours because it looks better, so we're gonna swap that over to this. We're gonna swap our bracket over just so we can. We need to take this, and we're gonna take our speed sensors, or whatever these sensors are, on our transmission. That way we can plug it back up, because these are the same sensors but two different plug styles. So we're just gonna pop these out and put ours in. So let's go ahead and switch some of our stuff over. Okay, I don't remember where we left off, but unfortunately we're gonna have to call it here. I tried to put in the flywheel after we jerked out everything else, got everything cleaned up. We put in a new rear main seal since we're in there, and then we got the flywheel in, put Loctite on it, got it torqued down. When we went to go put in the clutch and the pressure plate, we realized that we got the wrong clutch and pressure plate. We got a pull style clutch and we need a push style clutch for either one of these transmissions. So we're kind of at a standstill right now. I can't go forward and too far in to go backwards at this point. So I'm gonna get on the phone with my buddy over at Clutchmaster and see if we can get this fixed and get the right clutch and pressure plate to make this work. I think we just missed it by a year. I think we got slightly the wrong year stuff. I think what we needed was an 06 to 08 style, and what we got was an 04, 05 style. Either way, our 2010 transmission was a push type. Yeah, our 2010 transmission was a push type. Our 05 Outback XT transmission is a push type. Somehow we got a pull type, so hopefully we can get this figured out and get this project done. We are so close. I literally just had to put everything back in, but it is what it is. I'm gonna end it here. So like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video of hopefully getting this thing back on the road. We'll see you guys next time.